View of the slots here. So you see there's a slot right there. Little. Hey guys, welcome back to Revolution XRC and welcome to the next part of this Boom Racing BRX02 Land Rover Series 3 88 kit build series. In this part of the series, we are going to be adding some upgrades, and mainly cosmetic upgrades. So what I have here are the rear inner fenders, the front inner fenders, as well as the plates for the sliders, skid plates for the sliders. So here are the part numbers. And I will put a link to all of these parts in the description below. But adding these parts should kind of button up the bottom as well as cover up the fenders so that it'll just have a nicer scale look. Alright, let's start things off with the front inner fenders. So I'm just gonna cut open the bag. Get those out. Alright, as you can see, the front fenders come with the two fenders and some hardware. So you can see here that they allow for rock lights, which is pretty cool. Definitely see adding a light kit to this in the near future. So just kind of going through this and figuring out what screws I need. Alright, first thing first, I'm going to put the rock light covers on because I do not want to lose those pieces. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Alright, got those rock light covers on just so I don't lose those pieces, and I can attach rock lights when I need to. There's two extra screws here, I'm just going to save them just so I don't lose it. And let's get to figuring out how these go on. Alright, first thing we're going to do is remove the shock from the shock tower. Let's just test fit this. You know what, the countersunk screw right here. Alright, so with the fender placed here, you can see that small countersunk screw goes right there. So go ahead and get that in there. We can use the thread lock that comes with the kit. put a little dab on. After that piece is on, you can go ahead and reattach the shock to the shock tower. Next thing you want to do is take this shorter, I'm guessing it's probably around 5 millimeters or so. Let me see. Yeah, it's either 5 or 6 millimeters, but 5 millimeter button head screw right here. Take that. Screw in the front here. And the last screw for the fender will be this longer one here. It's probably an M3 by 12? M3 by 12 button head screw and a lock nut. So you'll need these. And that M3 by 12 and the lock nut are going to go through this hole right here. And lock nut's going to be on the inside of the chassis. So we'll go ahead and thread that through. Alright, so you can see here the lock nut that holds together that other screw for the inner fender. And there's a screw head right there. One fender done, and really sturdy. I really like it. Alright, let's go ahead and repeat for the other side. Alright, we've got both of the front inner fenders installed. Looks good, nice and snug, and we're ready to move on to the rear. Let's go ahead and open up the rear. Alright, let's just test fit one side first and see how it's supposed to mount up. We're probably going to do the same thing we did with the front, which is remove the shock from the shock tower first. Once again, before I do that, I'm going to put the rock light covers on and just make sure that I don't lose any parts. Alright, now we can go ahead and proceed with removing the shock. Alright, so it looks like in this case we'll have to remove these two screws as well. And let me see here. These two screws for this cross member right here, you'll need to remove this screw right here that holds onto the bumper mount, or bumper rear leaf spring mount actually. So let's go ahead and do that first. Let's just identify the screws first. So we've got two countersunk screws that are pretty much like the front where they mount to the shock tower. Those are for the countersunk screws. Looks like we got two of these and two of these. So we'll have to figure out which. I'm guessing the shorter ones go in this rear here. The two longer ones go right here on this cross member. We'll see if we can reuse the ones that we already have. Let's go ahead and remove those first. Alright, so let's go remove the screws from the cross member first to see how long they actually are and how much different they are from these longer screws. So the two longer screws from the fender go into this cross member. The shorter screw goes into the bumper mount, or bumper leaf spring mount. So I'll take care of this first. Right, so these are shorter than the ones that come with the fenders. You'll have to replace the shorter ones with the longer ones to account for the width of the fender. So that makes sense. So let's separate this out into two separate pieces or sets. This is what you're going to be dealing with for each fender. Two long screws. Well, I think these are what, M3 by 14s maybe? I think they're M3 by 14s. And then this M3 by 5-ish countersunk screw, and this M3 by 10. I think it's M3. Let me measure that. Yep, M3 by 10. M3 by 10 button head screw. So just keep in mind the two longer screws go into the cross member. Alright, those three screws removed, the two on the cross member, the first one on the leaf spring perch, and we're ready to put the fender on. Let me just move the shock out of the way first, kind of annoying. Trying to move this into position to give you guys a better view. Kind of hard to figure out. I really should remove the wheels. Let's go ahead and do that just to give you guys a better view. Didn't really want to, but if it makes it easier to see what I'm doing. Gotta make sure I don't lose that pin. Alright. Swing this out of the way. There you can see the two longer screws are in now. Focus. Try to get this camera to focus, but yeah, you'll see, like right there. Right there. Now it's in focus. The two longer screws right there. And that completes this side with the short screw in this area. Alright, let's mount the shock back up. I think I may have lost the pin. No? Go. One rear fender done. Now for the next side. Let's go ahead and repeat the same for the other side to complete the other fender. Alright, and that completes adding the rear inner fenders. That also completes the front and rear fenders. So, looking pretty cool. We can move on to the slider skids. Alright, we can move on to the slider skids. Let's go ahead and open these up. Once again, let's take a look And let's do a test fit. See where everything goes. It says left. So that'd be on that side. This is right. It says there, right. So these, I'm guessing, get put together. Screws down here. Yeah, they're actually they're like this. They snap into the fenders. There's like little slots in the fenders that they snap into. There. And one right here. And then you screw them into the posts right here. So let's take a look at that. They've got the covers. I guess there's supposed to be rock lights. You could add the rock lights to the sliders as well, which is cool. So this little notch cutout is for you to be able to access the clips, the body release clips. That pull right there. All right, I get how these work. Okay, let's take a look at it. Once again, these do have the option for rock lights, as you can see right here. Since I don't have lights yet, I am going to put the covers on just so I don't lose parts. Alright, let's go ahead and mount these up. I'll give you a better view of the slots here. So you see there's a slot right there. Little slot right here as well. You see that? Kind of, sort of. That's where these right here should be inserted. Then just take these countersunk screws and screw in the slider skids from the bottom. And this apparently uses a 1.5 mil. Alright, that's one slider skid in. You can see how nice it looks. Nice and integrated with the fenders. Really perfect setup. Go ahead and get this guy in. Alright. That was the last screw of the inner fenders. And that was the last screw of the skid sliders, or slider skids, whatever you want to call them. And that completes this part of the build. So you can see now that we've got a full set of fenders, inner fenders, front and rear, as well as slider skids to kind of button up the look of the underside. But all in all, totally worth it. I mean, looks great. Look at the bottom of the rig. I won't show it in this video, but in a future video I'll show it with the body on. You can see what the coverage is like. But yeah, looks really good. Alright, I actually did decide to mount up the body just so you can see how well the fenders work. Let's zoom out a little bit. As you can see here, got some nice coverage on the fenders. See the bottom, nice coverage on the bottom. And overall, looks pretty good. As you can see here, the slot in the slider skid allows you to unlatch the body. And that pretty much completes this part of the build series of adding inner fenders and slider skids to this Boom Racing BRX02 Land Rover Series 3 88 kit build. As you can see, the slider skids and the inner fenders, they all work together very nicely. It's a worthwhile upgrade for this kit, and I'm really liking it. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future updates on this Boom Racing BRX02 Land Rover Series 3 88 kit build. Thanks for watching.